What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Outside the Stadium Sports. We are here with the live tool phenom, Jake Fraley. What's going on, Jake? How's everything?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
We're chilling. We're doing well. We have our hosts with the bucket hat. That's me, Kush. We got Rosen with the glasses, and Harry with that Long Beach sweatshirt. So we're just gonna pick Jake's mind a bit. So Rosen, you want to take it away?
Yes, Jake, thank you very much for being here.
No worries, man. Thank you.
I'm going to start it off with, in my opinion, a pretty short question. Let's hear your top three Mariners all time.
Top three Mariners all time.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, number one is Ken Griffey.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And then my number two, matter of fact, I'm going to switch that. I'm going to say Alan Davis, AD, just because I've gotten to know him very well, obviously being part of the coaching staff, and he is an unbelievable human being. And then my number two would be Ken Griffey, and then one that you're probably not going to expect,
Martinez.
Evan White.
Ooh. Wow.
Evan White, man. He's going to have a long career with the Mariners. He's obviously one of my close buddies, but he's one of my all-time favorite human beings, man. And like I said, he's going to have a long career with the Mariners, and it's for obviously the way he plays baseball, but even more the person that he is.
Love it. Thank you.
Awesome.
I wanted to know how are you staying active during this time at home? Like, what's your workouts? What are you doing to get ready for the season?
I mean, yeah, just whatever I have. I mean, everybody's obviously in their own unique situation. So some guys have more and some guys have less. A lot of stuff's just body weight. There are a couple things that we have as far as like, a medicine ball, like a little step up box, some bands, stuff like that. But I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's, like I said, it's just utilizing what you have. I've had quite a few people, with my team around me that, I've sent out, workouts that I'm able to do with the stuff that I have. And you're kind of just trying to make the best of the situation we're in. It's nothing too complex. It's very, very simple stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. Yeah, Jake, it's a little bit out of left field. I just wanted to ask you actually about your time in the Australian Baseball League, because I noticed that you went over there for that winter season and you just absolutely raked and pretty much never turned back. So I wanted to know if there's anything specific about that league that maybe was it the experience, the people you were with, or something you picked up on that league, or you just turned to switch. So could you speak about your time with that league?
I mean, me and my family it was such a blessing to go out there. It was an unbelievable experience. So I'll lead with that. Australia is one of the most beautiful countries I have ever been to. We were fortunate enough to be able to travel the whole country. My family traveled with me on all the road games, and obviously where we were in Perth, they were all the way out on the west coast side of the country, was the only big city on that side. So all of our road games, we had to travel all the way back across country to the East Coast. And it was, we got to see all of the cities. We got to see everywhere, a couple suburbs. And it was really, really cool. But I mean, as far as the baseball wise, it was more just the stuff that I was working on and switching and kind of implementing into my game leading up to me getting there. I wasn't even at the time planning on going to play any winter ball. But that season turned out to be, things that didn't go my way. I had some bad luck with some beef going back and forth between us and another team, and I was kind of the next guy to get plunked, the unwritten rule of baseball. And, the fact of the matter was whatever it was in that series that kind of flared all that stuff. But the guy ended up cutting a fastball at my kneecap and ended up knocking me out for that entire year. I ended up only playing 20 games that year until once that happened and I got hit and knocked out. And so went over to Australia, and there were a couple things probably had about 3 weeks. I had already implemented a lot of changes into my swing in that spring training leading into that season. And obviously I only had spring training to be able to see it and kind of put it to work out on the field. So you're looking at probably like 20 games, probably something around there in minor league camp. So it wasn't that many games. It was really good. Everything went very well that spring training. I had a very good spring training. So everything was working well in this, as far as my swing going into that. And then once I got over to Australia, was the first time I was able to kind of put it into work every single day for obviously not a full season, because we only ended up playing like 50 something games over there, but an extended amount of games. And so, that was kind of the result of it. I was able to see all that success kind of come together for a short period of time in that league. And then it rolled right over into the next year.
Yeah, it was enough time for you to rack up a hell of a lot of stolen bases in that league, though. I definitely saw that.
Yeah, I was. My legs were feeling good. It was hot over there.
Most definitely.
Great. So this is kind of a question that I've always been wondering. I'm a pretty big sports memorabilia collector. So I'm just wondering, like when you play with all stars and then you have big time teammates, you guys like giving each other gear, go into their lockers and kind of just taking whatever you want after practice. How does that work? Are you swapping with other teams? Just can you talk a little about what your memorabilia collection looks like these days?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's just a couple balls here and there. I'm gonna be honest with you. Me personally, I'm not real big on like collecting those things. So for me personally, it's not too serious. But I do have a couple balls of some pretty cool teams that I played for, with kind of everybody obviously on that ball. But there are a couple guys. It's becoming kind of. I think for me, as I obviously just starting my big league career, I think as I continue in my career to the end of it, I think something that I'm going to want to start doing, because me and my wife are actually getting ready to buy our first house. And so I think for me, as I, go through my career until the end, I'm going to start I've always thought it was a cool idea to like swap jerseys. So I think what I'm going to start doing is, some guys that, I become close with, or, guys that I kind of look up to or have looked up to leading up to me getting to the big leagues, get their jersey and get them to sign it so I can kind of frame it and put it up in the man cave in our house. So that's something that I want to do. But yeah, a lot of guys do it, man. Like for instance, last year, obviously being Felix's last year with Seattle, I mean, a lot of guys were getting ball. I mean, I got a ball signed from him, a jersey signed by him. A lot of guys were, getting random stuff signed. So he was a big Blue Label guy. He drank that every day. And so a lot of guys were, getting the bottles that he had finished and getting him to sign those. So like a lot of guys do a lot of interesting things.
That's amazing. That's where I'm the most jealous, I would say.
I saw that, last year was your first year in the majors, and that's like, that's a surreal feeling, unbelievable. I just want to know, how was the feeling being in the majors? What was your favorite moments last year?
Yeah, I mean, it was very short. I think I was up there for just under 2 months, a month and a half. And after 9 games, Alex ran into me in Houston, and I ended up getting hurt with my thumb. So, it felt very short. But obviously the best one was getting there for my debut. I ended up doing it against the team that drafted me 3 years previous, and got to do it, in that stadium. So it was kind of unique because it was always, obviously when I signed, that was the stadium and the place that I envisioned myself, being in the big leagues and making my debut in. Never in a million years did I think that it would be, in the other dugout. So it was a very cool and unique thing. And then, the other one was obviously my first hit. You work so hard to, just get the opportunity to get there. And then, you have something like that obviously you're always going to remember. And, it just kind of brings you back down memory lane of, all the sacrifices and everything you did just to get to that point. But it's also a very humbling at the same time, because it kind of, you start thinking about, okay, this is the first of, many, 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 many more hits. So it's a lot of emotions.
Yeah, definitely. I could tell you're definitely going to have many, many more hits and highlights as your career goes on. So I just wanted to ask you, what I'm missing the most when I'm in quarantine is like, seeing my friends, hanging out with the guys, just, those day-to-day activities that you take for granted. So I just wanted to know, like, clubhouse life, what's going on in the dugout. What do you miss the most about, just being around the guys in the dugout?
Honestly, man, I probably miss the the road trips the most. you could sit here and, go through a million different things that go on in the clubhouse. And I mean, everybody's playing cards to, we're around each other more than we're around our own family during the season. So, I mean, you can imagine, the amount of time and stuff that we do because of the amount of time that we're around each other. So, so much. So for me, man, road trips are a lot of fun because, you kind of get out of your normal element with being at home. You're obviously at your house or apartment, whatever. For me, obviously, I'm around my wife and my kids while I'm at home. And, you're a little bit more, like I just said, like it's kind of like, it's your nest. And then once you get out on the road, it's just you and the boys. So, you're in the hotel and you're going to the hotel, you're going back to the field, you're kind of going around that city, that new city that you're in, or maybe it's a city you guys have been before and you're kind of revisiting a couple places that you had fun last time. So, you have a lot of memories. You create a lot of memories when you're going on the road and you're with the boys for, wherever you are and for however long you're there.
Yep, definitely. Awesome.
Something I've always been wondering. Baseball teams are so large, like, in the NBA, you got like a starting five, a couple bench players, and that's it. But like, how is someone a good leader on a baseball team? Meaning, like, you have to connect to so many different guys. I'm just wondering how that works.
You're saying like what makes a good leader?
Yeah, what makes a good leader in baseball, and like how do they connect with everybody on the team?
I mean, I'll go with this. The teams that I've been on that have been winning teams have been the teams that are there's no clicks. And that kind of starts. I mean, naturally you want to go to, the normal, I guess, understanding, I guess, for everybody, and I don't know where this happened, but your best player, quote unquote, is usually that leader when that's not the case. When you have a team that's winning, a championship team, there's no one set person. I mean, yes, you have your best player or your best couple players. Of course, every team has that. But when you're putting together a championship team, it's more of like, it's like one big, it's like kind of one big leader. Every single person is playing a part in doing that. And a big part of that is keeping everybody's keeping each other accountable. Everybody is, pushing each other. Obviously baseball, it's such a long season and it's such a hard game to play. Your downs are inevitable in this game. You're going to have a lot of struggles and multiple struggles throughout the season. And when you have a team and a lot of different guys around you that are pushing you and helping you through those times, that's when you start creating those kind of, those down spots, and that wave are a lot shorter. And that, in that case, that team obviously escalates and you start winning and you start thriving. And everybody kind of feeds off of each other. So for me, it's not really just that one set guy or that understanding of your best player should be the guy that's leading the whole team. It's kind of, man, a mix of everybody. When you got a championship team, man, everybody's thriving on every cylinder.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. We're all, us four, I'm sure, like huge baseball fans, we're all wondering the same thing. I just want to know your prediction for when the season's going to start up and how long of a spring training would you need to, get ready, feel comfortable getting into game action?
As far as prediction wise, I don't really, I have no idea, man. If this was only entirely up to Major League Baseball, honestly, we probably would have been started by now. But since it's in the hands of the government, I see it being a very long process because, you're not just talking about, it's not just about sports, man. It's about the health of the entire country. And not only that, but a lot of us have families with us, a lot of us have kids. There's quite a few guys that just had babies not too long ago. And the last thing that you want to do is push the envelope and then someone gets it. And God forbid somebody who has a little infant who's just born and that, now they're separated for, 3 to 4 weeks, or God forbid the baby gets it. All those things are variables that you have to, think about. It's not just about, don't get me wrong. I miss baseball just as much as everybody else. But at the end of the day, this is a lot bigger than the baseball game. And the sooner and the longer that we keep that in our, in our thoughts and constantly being aware of that, the quicker we're going to get out on the field. And as far as, what we need, I mean, all the people that I've been talking to and, reporters and stuff, I've been saying the same thing that, you look at an off season and you have all the resources you need to get ready, a normal off season. And everybody's doing the best thing that they can to get ready and try to implement the best way they can for game-like situations without obviously being in the game because it's the off season. And no matter what you do, I don't care what you do. I don't care how hard you work out. I don't care how hard you, push the envelope. When you get to spring training, nothing emulates a game-like situation. Every time you get to spring training, you have that long period where your body has to get adjusted. You have to get your eyes back to sight with the pitcher, and the pitcher's got to get their their arms and their release points and their slots back to facing a hitter in the box. And not only that, but when you get into those games again, the adrenaline's going, everything's going a little bit quicker that you got to kind of get your body readjusted to. And that's with an entire off season with no restraints. That's with everything you could possibly work on. So now you put ourselves in the situation that we're in now, and everybody's limited to what they have at their house now, as far as, doing what they can in this, moment. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, that's where I get like a little bit, worried in the fact that, how are a lot of our bodies going to react, because we don't have everything that we usually have in an off season. And then you get back and you start ramping it back up and playing again. Our bodies are probably going to need a lot longer of an adjustment period to get ourselves back on our feet and our bodies able to get in that groove again, to where that durability and that endurance is able to kick in and thrive through an entire year. Obviously, we're not playing a full 162 games this year, but whatever that is, playing every day, your body has to get readjusted to it. So, I mean, from a pitcher standpoint, definitely, I mean, you're going to need at least 3 full weeks to be able to get your arm strength back to where you feel fine as far as that health-wise of the pitcher. And for position players, I mean, the biggest, your eyes and getting adjusted back to pitchers, I mean, you need like a week and a half to 2 weeks of, games every day, maybe an off day here and there for your eyes to get back adjusted and your timing back to the pitchers. But to me, it's more of the durability, and your bodies are able to get back to that, that point to where it's adjusted and kind of has that ability to go through a season of playing every day.
Jake, this has been amazing. Is there anything else that you want to say, or anything you want to tell your fans, or anything like that?
No, man. Just I appreciate everybody's support, and we're all in this together, especially in a time like this. Like I was saying a couple minutes ago, everybody else's part in this is going to help baseball to come back as quick as possible, including my own. And so, just to, listen to, what's being said and take it very seriously. Because, even though you might not be one that's directly affected by, everything that's going on, there's a lot of people out there that are, in that high risk area that are depending on us to be able to, keep them safe. And so, take it seriously, man. And, I'm leaning a lot on my faith, and I'm a believer in Jesus. And so for me, it's, really utilizing this time to spend, that alone time with the Lord, and really seeking out his, presence in his face through all of this. Because, it's been a real big eye opener for, not only for us players, obviously not being able to play, but, for the entire world, all entertainment shut down. And, a lot of people thrive and really look up to entertainment. Obviously, I'm going out on a limb here. I'm not speaking for everybody, but I know there's a lot of people that really lean on it enough to where, it becomes, their prior, main focus, and they're almost to the point of idolizing it. And, if this is not a season that's really showing you how hollow and how, meaningless all of this stuff is, I don't know what will. So for me, it's really just, refreshing to me in the fact that, it's really allowing me to kind of experience, another, walk, maturity in my walk with the Lord, as far as really allowing me to understand, that he is everything, that his presence is everything, that, his presence and my relationship with him, walking with him every day is, that's the fulfilling part of life. It's not baseball. And that kind of takes the pressure off of the game itself. And it kind of just brings you back to what truly matters. And it's definitely not baseball.
Very well said. And hopefully, soon everyone, everything will calm down and we'll be able to watch you, kill it again back on the field. But until then, obviously, we want everyone to stay safe and, everyone in good health. So, this has been Outside the Stadium with Jake Fraley. Jake, thank you so much. And we look forward to speaking to you when things calm down and the season starts again.
Definitely, man. I really appreciate it, guys. God bless you all.